Hello, everybody. This is Professor Hassey. It's Wednesday, February 5th, our halfway point week, number 5. And this Wednesday, I'm going to have two videos for you this week. Today, which I'm going to be going over a little bit of our case number 2 PowerPoint format work. And then tomorrow, Thursday, talking about capital budgeting strategy and making sure we're up to speed on capital budget analysis and risk analysis associated with that. Here's our case number 2. Case number 2 is another case that we're studying to go over some financial analytical information. You to analyze some financial data, either in the data that I give you in question 1, data that you find in question 2, and then just an interpretation of a capital structure theory question in question 3. The difference here is I want it in a PowerPoint format. Now, you're not going to get up in front of the room because there's no room here, we're online, or get up in front of a group of people or explain this PowerPoint. You're just going to be doing the PowerPoint and sending it to me and posting it by next Sunday, explaining your interpretation of this analysis. Here's an example of a PowerPoint case. This was taken from my fall 2019 case number 2 with Business 635. Now, the subject matter is entirely different from this one, so don't get any ideas about quickly writing this down. And I'm not giving you a copy of this file, but I want to just go over some key points of how I want you to present your PowerPoint, because many of you have not done this before. Also, in the case number 2 file folder, I have given you some sample files about explaining basic PowerPoint techniques if any of you need help with that. You start off with the PowerPoint file with your introductory slide, just explaining the nature of what this is all about. You end the PowerPoint presentation with a reference slide showing the references that you used during the course of this work. In between, you have key bullet point presentations of the analysis interpretation of your data. In question number 2 of the case, you have to go out and find 5 different equations using those formats of financial statement analysis from chapter 3 and find that information for 2 fiscal years for the company that you used in case number 1, question 4. It's going to require a little bit of research. And then you supply that data, and that data helps you answer the 3 questions that I give you in that case. But I want to stress to all of you, I do not want you to spend a lot of time making this look nice and pretty. Nice colors, nice scheme. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about your data. If you look at the rubric that I provided for this case, I'm more concerned about your presentation of the data analysis, your bullet points explaining it. Now, naturally, as you can see in this format, I have bullet points explaining data. I also include maybe some pictures, but I don't think that's necessary in this type of analysis, or some spreadsheet or some sample data with information along to it. But there's different ways to going about and doing this. But as you can see, the data is concise. There's not a lot of writing. There's not a lot of fancy format or fancy letters. It's just explaining the nature of the work in a format that I can interpret, that you understand the assessment and understand your ability to take that data and present it in a format that shows me that you have a handle of that particular question. Okay? The goal of this case is for you to interpret and analyze and then put it in a format that's concise and specific. Remember, my rule of this case is less is more. Less is more. Not a lot of writing, bullet points, explaining the work, showing the data, and then moving on. I know this is different for some of you, but this is a presentation that you might have to do or maybe have already done in your career. It's good practice, it's a good way of interpreting data, and it's a good way of showing data. So this is what I want you to do for case number 2. Just be concise, less is more. Don't worry about fancy graphics or anything. Just make sure you interpret the data and give your interpretation of that data in the questions that are being asked. So in summary, Case number 2 is for you to go and use analytical skills to find data and then interpret that data into the format that I'm asking for. In the question number 1, I want you to interpret the financial statement information, determine the return on equity for 27% debt to assets and 45%. How does that change due to the nature of the capital structure being changed from 27 to 45? In question number 2, I want you to go and find 2 fiscal years of the financial data of your company from case number 1. Find 5 equations that represent those 5 areas of financial statement analysis and apply that information to answering the 3 questions given to you about that event or that company. And then in question number 3, not too much research, just your interpretation of how risk can change inside a company. Different projects, different divisions, different departments may have risk. Explain that in the nature of determining the cost of capital. All right, that's our work for this week. Week number 5, another video tomorrow. Next week, in week number 6, I'll be asking you to pick a date, and we're going to have another video WebEx conference call with each student in the class through the halfway point of our class. We're going to talk about the class thus far, answer any questions or concerns, and also again talk about the remaining work to be done in this class. Thanks everybody. Have a good Wednesday, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.